We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
People have always known that fire was special. Long, long ago, before people made matches or candles, people knew that fire was special. There was the great fire in the sky, the sun, which made the earth warm and made night into day. And there were the smaller fires that people made, fires that cooked their food and kept them warm and brought them light. People honored the fires because fire was special. Fire was more than human. Fire has power. It can create and it can destroy. It can bring light and it can burn. It can create and it can destroy. Fire can be wonderful and fire can be terrible. We have to be careful with fire. And so, people thought that fire was something sacred and holy. Some people even worshipped fire and said that fire was a deity, like a god or goddess. Other people said fire wasn't actually the deity, but it meant that the deity was there. No matter what they believed, people all over the world gave fire a special place in their religions. They had fires in their homes to cook food and keep warm, and they also had sacred fires in their temples. They set sacred lamps on their altars. They lit sacred bonfires outside on the hilltops and on the groves. They placed sacred torches near the graves of those who died. This is still a human tradition. In Washington, D.C., near the tomb of the unknown soldier, burns an eternal flame. Fire is special to people. In churches at Christmas time, many Christians light 4 candles on an Advent wreath. During the 8 days of Hanukkah, Jews light the 8 candles of the menorah. At Diwali, Hindus set small lamps around their houses. And when Unitarian Universalists gather, we light a chalice. This is our sacred fire.
You received a handout in your way in, along with your order of service. This is the hymn we'll sing. We will sing just verse 1, but 2 times through.
We can take a second. Richard, can we have both of the microphones on? Thank you so much. The story of Musa and Nagib, adapted from a wisdom tale from the Middle East. We want to tell you a story of 2 friends, Musa and Nagib. It's a story that reminds us that hope and transformation begin when we choose what we let go of and what we keep.
Once long ago, 2 friends named Musa and Nagib set out on a journey together. They walked across the desert, sharing food, stories, and laughter. But as happens with friends, one day they argued. In anger, Nagib struck Musa. Musa was hurt and saddened, but he chose not to let the moment end their friendship. Instead, he knelt down and wrote in the sand.
Today, my best friend hurt me.
Nagib was surprised. He thought Musa might walk away forever, but the 2 continued on together. Later on their journey, they came to an oasis. While bathing, Musa slipped into the water and nearly drowned. Nagib quickly pulled him to safety, saving his life. This time, Musa picked up a sharp stone and carved into a rock nearby.
Today, my best friend saved my life.
Nagib was puzzled. When I hurt you, you wrote in the sand, but when I saved you, you carved it in stone. Why?
Musa smiled. When someone hurts us, we can choose to write it in sand so the winds of time may wash it away. But when someone helps us, we should carve it in stone so it is never forgotten.
And the two friends continued their journey with hope, knowing they could always begin again in love. What I like about the story is that it reminds me that, like Musa, we have the choice of what to let go of, what to write in the sand, and what to hold on to, what to carve in stone. New Year's is a great time for this.
Thank you, Aria. Tough stuff happens, sometimes close to home and sometimes far away. Yesterday, the U.S. presidential administration used violence in Venezuela, a country south of here, to take the Venezuelan leader. As Unitarian Universalists, we want peace. And when tough stuff happens, or we feel sad or scared, we want to pay attention to that feeling and tell a trusted grown-up. Sometimes it's more comfortable to talk about tough stuff while doing something else, like eating together, while in the car, or going for a walk.
And sometimes it is more comfortable to talk about tough stuff when we are in a space with people who know us and care about us. We arrive here this morning, as we do every Sunday morning, with both joys and sorrows in our hearts. And one of the many promises that we make to each other here in this beloved community is that we will both help each other celebrate the joys of life and help each other bear the sorrows. This morning, before we turn to our personal joys and sorrows, I want to offer you these words from a retired UU minister colleague of mine, Bob McKechnie, who posted them yesterday on Facebook. A prayer for troubled days. We gather in a time of disturbing news. Decisions have been made by those in power that place human lives at risk. These actions were taken without our consent, without clear necessity, and without regard for the consequences that will follow. We name what we see. Force has been used where restraint was possible. Secrecy has replaced accountability. The suffering of civilians is treated as acceptable loss. We acknowledge our grief. People we will never meet are living with fear, displacement, and death. Families are waiting for loved ones. Communities are bracing for what comes next. We acknowledge our anger at corruption, anger at the pursuit of dominance, anger at the shrinking of moral imagination in those entrusted with great responsibility. We also acknowledge our responsibility. We are not helpless observers. We are citizens, neighbors, witnesses. What is done in our name requires our attention and our response. We refuse the claim that despair is wisdom. We refuse the idea that violence is inevitable. We refuse the belief that conscience is naive or that speaking truth is pointless. Instead, we commit ourselves again to honesty, to accountability, to care for those who suffer, to resistance when justice is denied. We do not pretend to know the outcome. We do not offer easy comfort. We offer presence. We offer clarity. We offer the steady work of conscience. May we have the courage to stay awake, to stay human, and to choose what is right, even when the cost is real. So may it be. And now, if you have a brief personal joy or sorrow to share, please raise your hand and an usher will bring you the microphone. And if you are online, please type your joy or sorrow into chat and it will be shared aloud in the room.
Hi, hello. Hi, my name is Carla. I am from Venezuela. I have two sorrows. First of all, a dear friend of mine from a long time ago, her daughter has gone missing from Las Vegas, Nevada. They believe she is under the influence of an older person who's taking advantage of her. So if you could please hold prayers up. If you're friends with me on Facebook, please copy and paste. I can't imagine. She's 15 years old. Just please keep them in your thoughts. And please keep Venezuela in your prayers. There are people who are celebrating, and I pray that their elation is not unfounded. My reaction is very different. I will be downstairs at social hour if you want to talk about it. Also, I'm in talks with John to maybe be part of one of his chats about it. But yeah, feel free to ask questions, and please do keep us all in your prayers.
Hi, I'm Leslie Swenson, and in a time when it just seems like there's so much bad news, I just wanted to share one thing of good news that I saw in the newspaper today. There was a homeless drop-in place in Washington State that provided meals, a pop-up medical clinic twice a month, and showers and a place to wash clothes for homeless people that was about to close. And I don't know if many of you know Rick Steves. He's a travel guy. He decided to buy it, to keep it open, and to help those people have a place to be. And I just wanted to share that because it's nice to know good things still happen.
Hi, I'm Amy Law. I just wanted to share something happy too. I got to go and spend some time with my son and Dawn and my granddaughter Frances, and I got to teach her how to wrap a present professionally, because I did it in high school when I was on a team board, and we baked cookies together, and we really had a good time, and it was really good for me to do that. Thank you.
I'd like to share the joy that for the last 5 days, family has been getting together for the wedding of our younger daughter. And there's faces we haven't seen for quite a while, so it was very joyful and a little tiring.
Richard, are there any online? No. Anybody else here in the space? All right, well, we'll just take a moment to acknowledge that, as always, when we gather and share these joys and sorrows, there are some that are maybe too tender and fresh to be shared aloud this morning, or maybe they will never be shared in a large group setting like this, but which we know people are carrying in their hearts. And so we share those with you as well, both the spoken and the unspoken joys and sorrows carried in the sanctuaries of our hearts together. Please join me in the musical response.
We believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give, we have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer.
We have just a couple of announcements this morning, brief ones. Two reminders. First, a reminder that on Saturday, January 17th, that afternoon, we are co-ordaining our former ministerial intern, Chad Snyder, along with his home congregation of Merging Waters UU. The ordination will take place here at MVUUF, which is an honor for us, and we hope to see you all there. We can still use some volunteers for that special day. Please see the sign up in the Friday email to join that volunteer team. And then our second quick reminder is that this Saturday at 10:30 a.m., LIFT, or Learning in Fellowship Together, will be hosting piano player extraordinaire Nate Hance. Join LIFT for fun and entertainment upstairs, and then, if you desire, bring your lunch and meet for fellowship downstairs afterwards. The cost for the program is $5. Generosity is one of the spiritual qualities that we aspire to as Unitarian Universalists and one of the practices that we nurture in this community. With our offering in every Sunday service, we give of some of our financial resources to support the work of this fellowship. We know that giving financially is, of course, only one of the many ways that we do this work together. We also do it with our time and with our talents. All of those are necessary for the vital work that we do, both for each other within the fellowship and for the wider community. We also donate half of our collection every Sunday to support one of our community partners, organizations who are in alignment with our Unitarian Universalist values. Each of those partners receives half of an entire month's worth of offerings. For January, our sharing partner is Joyce Uptown Food Shelf, whose mission is to distribute food to those in need with respect and dignity. You can give in person as baskets are brought around, or online using the QR code that's on the screen and on the back of the printed order of service, or you can use the Donate Online link on our website, which is where that QR code leads. I invite you to give as generously as you are able.
Enter the world with care, my love, and speak the things you see. Let remains take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you travel far from heather, crag, and river, may you, like the little fisher, set the stream alive with glitter. May you enter now as otter, without water into water. Look to the sky with care, my love, and speak the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow.
but with gratitude to my colleague Erica Hewitt, from whom I've adapted this morning's fire ritual, I share with you all, this is my first fire ritual with a congregation, so I'm delighted to be sharing this tradition with you. The new year calls us forward, filled with mystery. In this great turning, we heard the song say earlier, we shall learn to lead in love. But before we turn toward that new year, we take a final glimpse of the past year and reckon with all that it held for us. As you entered this morning, hopefully you were offered paper and pen. If you did not get one, please raise your hand and somebody will bring paper and pen to you now, in the next minute or two. Is there someone who can grab the baskets? They're on the entry table there. I see somebody's getting paper and pen from them out. There we go. Thank you. And folks at home, I invite you to also find a small piece of paper to write on if you wish. But before we do the writing, I invite you to hold the piece of paper near to your heart. Close your eyes if that's comfortable, or if not, just soften your gaze and take in a deep breath. And as you reflect on moving ahead with your life into the new year, consider what you might leave behind today, burning it brightly so that it changes form and disappears. We might think about what parts of our lives, what things, ideas, people, or ways of living have become obstacles to our becoming the people we want to be, the people we need to be. I invite you to think about what's holding you back, or what's getting in the way of you living as fully as you would like to. What might you burn away? What will you relinquish? We're going to take just a moment of silent reflection to think about what each of us might need to let go of. Now, having thought a little about what you might need to release, I invite you to write a word or two on the paper, or you can draw a picture representing what you're letting go of if words aren't going to do it for you today. You can also choose not to write or draw anything, but just to imbue that piece of paper with your thoughts while leaving it blank. Know that whether or not you write on it, nobody is going to see it except you, the fire, and the vast emptiness of the universe, which has plenty of space to hold and transform what we release. Please feel free to keep writing if you need to while I talk. In a minute or two, we'll invite you to take your offering to the fire that's outside waiting for you and let it go. The fire that we have lit and are tending outside is sacred space. So I ask that you please enter that space intentionally and quietly, we might say reverently, with patience for others around you who might need more time, either physically or emotionally, before they are able to put their paper in the fire. If you do not wish to go outside, but you have a piece of paper that you would like to release in the fire, when people start leaving, I invite you to hold your paper up so that someone else can carry it outside for you and take it to the fire on your behalf. And folks at home, we invite you to safely burn your offering in a way that works for your space, whether that happens in this moment or perhaps later if you want to do that outside at your home. Either is fine. May the space that within us that is left opened by what we offer to the fire become fertile ground for love to offer healing and growth. If the past year held joy for you, may that sweetness continue to bless you. If the past year held pain and bitterness, may you be relieved of those burdens and renewed for the journey ahead. Let us look to the new year with hope, with curiosity about its many unknowns, and with faith in our strength to navigate it with grace. I now invite you to take your offering to the fire outside and let it go in a spirit of reverence. When I planned this service with Maria weeks ago, what feels like much longer ago than that, the title I chose for my reflection was Letting Go and Moving Forward, to fit with our fire communion and with the opportunity that the start of a new calendar year gives us to let go of things that are not working for us and to move forward into the new year, making the choices that fit best with what is important to us, our values, our hopes, and our goals. In the midst of yesterday's news, I was texting with Maria about how much change to make to today's service in response to the news coming out of Venezuela. The subject, letting go and moving forward, felt to me in that moment like it might be not only irrelevant to what we are experiencing right now, but potentially even offensive to some, as though I would somehow think that we could all let go of our reactions to this news. Maria, wise person that she is, said, I mean, we do still need to move forward, and we need to take time to consider what has happened and to be in that discomfort. The second half of that, the time, will have to unfold beyond this hour that we share this morning. But the moving forward, we can talk a little bit about today. While I obviously did not shift today's entire service in response to world events, as I occasionally but rarely have done in the past, I can't help but let it influence some of what I focus on in my reflection today. One of the thoughts that came to me in my discussion with Maria yesterday was that perhaps today, at least for some of us, the letting go that we may need to do is letting go of any remaining illusion we may have had that our nation is always a good guy on the world stage. Some of us, I know, never had that illusion or had it taken from us a long time ago. We can't trust that our nation is a power that will always do what's best for the greatest good. Perhaps the moving forward part, paired with that letting go, is about taking action to insist upon the kind of nation we want to live in, rather than allowing ourselves to be complacent, whether out of fear or overwhelm, or perhaps a sense that we can't make a difference anyway, so why even try? Though it's certainly a very human thing to feel that from time to time. Certainly one aspect of moving forward must be for us to show solidarity with our Venezuelan American neighbors, as we have been in recent weeks and months with our Somali American neighbors after they became a focus of the administration's attacks of a different type. I did not know until I researched it yesterday that there are over 3,000 Venezuelan American residents of Minnesota, with more than half of that population concentrated in the greater Twin Cities metro. By being in solidarity with them, we can make a difference. Perhaps not immediately in national or global politics, but in the lives of these particular neighbors and friends who can use some extra love right now. In this year, just as in last year, our Unitarian Universalist faith reminds us to love our neighbors. And as the red signs that Reverend Laura created and which are in our foyer available, as they explain, that includes always our immigrant neighbors and our Black and brown neighbors from anywhere. It's important to recognize, as Carla mentioned earlier, that our Venezuelan friends and neighbors almost certainly do not all have the same view of what happened yesterday. The situation is politically complex. And as Carla, who is Venezuelan born and raised and a naturalized US citizen, as well as a very active member of this congregation, Carla Reese posted on Facebook yesterday and gave me permission to share today, quote, "These are frightening times for the Venezuelan people in the country and all over the world. You will see celebrations. The Chavez-Maduro regime was terrible for my beautiful country. However, externally imposed regime change seldom works in anyone's favor." She also wrote, Regardless of what the actual outcome turns out to be, what is happening to Venezuela is illegal and sets a terrible precedent. Now, most of us in this room, certainly I, are not experts in global politics, but we are people who believe in justice and in fairness, and who believe love is at the very center of our shared values. Let's bring this from the political realm to the personal, knowing that the line between those two is very, very blurry. In our fire communion ritual, you were already invited to consider what from 2025 you wanted to release or let go of, and if you're like me, there was a lot, probably more than you could put on that one paper, but I'm imagining you chose one thing or a couple of things. Things we wanted to let go of as we move into this new year, and this is not how we wanted to start that new year. But I ask us to consider, what does moving forward look like for us, for you individually in 2026? Now, for some of us, with children of a certain age, the phrase, well, maybe others beyond that group, but certainly with children of a certain age, the phrase letting go maybe reminds us of a popular song in a Disney movie. Anybody know the one I'm talking about? For anybody who hasn't been hanging out with that age group at all, it's Let It Go from Frozen. But there's another song in the second Frozen movie, sung by Elsa's sister, Anna. It's called The Next Right Thing. How many of you know that one? Again, it sort of depends on what age group you hang out with a lot. My wife and I have an honorary niece who is very into Elsa and Anna right now, so we get serenaded with these songs periodically. Anna sings it in the movie when she's very sad about something bad that had happened, and I'm not going to say any more for those of you who haven't seen the movie and still might. But what's important for us today is that one part of that song says, just do the next right thing. Take a step, step again. It is all that I can do, the next right thing. So whatever hard thing or things you are facing right now, whether globally or personally or anywhere in between, I'm wondering if each of us can find one next right thing to do. And I want to acknowledge that for some folks who are deeply struggling, that next right thing might just be the next breath, and that's okay. Maybe the next right thing is to be kind to someone who is sad or scared. Maybe the sad or scared person you need to be kind to is yourself. Maybe the next right thing is to take food to someone who's hungry, and I know there are those of you in this room who have been doing that. Maybe the next right thing is to write or call your elected officials to tell them what you believe and ask them to do what is right. Maybe it's to make a sign or a social media post saying what you believe so others will witness it. Maybe it's to put one of Reverend Laura's red Love Your Neighbor signs in your yard or your window. I have one in a window of my house right now, and I don't know who it might make a difference to, and that doesn't matter. I do know that it might let someone feel seen and loved at a time when they desperately need it. And so I leave that sign up all the time. I know some of you own those signs already, and if they're not out prominently, I invite you to put them back out. I'm going to give us just a couple of minutes. We have to keep it a little brief so we don't go over time. But I want to invite you, if there are other next right things, next steps that you want to name, and for the sake of time, if you'll call them out, I will say them into the microphone. Maybe we're just going to ponder next right steps for now. That is okay too. And like I said, for some, it might just be the next breath, the next meal, the next good sleep. It is okay if the next right thing is self-care. There is no single next right thing, although I am a person who often feels pressure as though that were the case, that there's a right choice to make about that next step. There is no single right way to move forward. Just as we all write down or think about our individual things to let go of from 2025, we also all get to choose what we want to do, what we are capable of doing in 2026, how we want to show up for our own lives and how we want to show up in the lives of others, including here in this fellowship. Whatever we choose, may we do it with love and with courage. In that spirit, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and sing hymn number 1057, Go Lift It Up. Our Unitarian Universalist Association quickly offered several resources in response to yesterday's news, including a long statement that I have shared on my own social media and will also share in the Friday email this week. They also offered this poem by Nancy MacDonald Ladd, who is a Unitarian Universalist minister and is currently serving, rather than in a congregation, as Director of Communications and Public Ministry at the UUA. And I offer her words as our closing words today. The poem is titled Caracas, January 3rd. There is something simple which power forgets, and clouds of smoke and the roar of rotor blades cannot conceal. There are people there, wherever there is, on the front lines of every empire's effort to manifest dominion. Just people, running on the sidewalk, panicked at the borders, cans of food and children's toys rattling even now in the trunk of a car that for today, Meu Deus, still starts. People there, in doorways and on freeways, praying for a place beyond the bombs, without ever knowing the plans of men with pens that write orders and suits worth more than this month's rent, and declarations that burst forth in fire when the children should be sleeping. Just people there. On this day, we pray strength unto them all, upon us all, to meet this time with courage and grief and remembering and reminding that in that place, where they are, among them, there is only all of us. Please join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.